Welcome back, Storm Chasers. Outbrk has seen a ton of changes in the last month. August was an especially huge month in terms of bug fixes, gameplay changes, and a whole lot of things. We have a lot to talk about in terms of the changes to the gameplay mechanics, like tornadic speeds, scenarios, are the new probe changes. So we have a ton of things to talk about. So let's get right into it. First things first, we have to talk about how tornado winds now affect you, the player. The tornadoes have a 100-yard radius in which they can affect all things, including cars and people. Incidentally, they also improve the probe radius as a result of that change, so you can place your probe from farther away than you used to be able to, and still get a pretty good value off of those probes. They also better tweaked the graphics on the tornadoes themselves. They look a lot cleaner, and honestly makes for a better gameplay experience as it just runs smoother. This second update brought a ton of changes and a lot of fixes. I will try to break them down as best as I can here in a quick amount of time. First things first, probe spamming's dead. No longer you can probe spam. That is done. There's a 60-second upload phase now included. Whenever you get a probe that has any amount of data on it, there's an automatic 60-second timer before you can place another. They also added an anemometer to the Dominator 3, so if you were missing that feature on the Dominator, they now have it. On top of that, they also fixed all of the freezes whenever you would be driving, whenever you would place your probe down or pick it up, and whenever you got in your car. There are no more freezes. This game has never run smoother. It's honestly amazing. Oh my god, we haven't lag spiked once. This is so amazing. No lag spikes. We're free. We're finally free. The last important change was that they set the foundation for the party matchmaking system and are going to be implementing that more as time goes on. So how do these changes affect gameplay? We're going to break that down. See, safety and prioritizing your safety has become a little bit more difficult since the tornado range has been increased by so much. It also means that getting a good probe is much better than getting a couple weak probes now that getting the probe spamming down is extremely more difficult since you have a 60-second cooldown. I'm going to go over the best tips and tricks on what you can do to make sure that you're getting good probes and stuff like that. But first, let's talk about the vehicle comparison screen, which is a new feature since our previous vehicle guide. First thing you see when you open up the garage is your current vehicle, and you can go ahead and select other vehicles to see how your current selection stands up against the vehicle that you are currently looking at. Now, the good news about the upgrades is that every single upgrade except for plexiglass and hail cages are able to be transferred between vehicles. So that's your bull bars, your messonets, your tornado antennas, your lights, your amber lights, the laptop, the action camera, video camera, as well as the horn. They are all interchangeable. Now, for unique vehicles, you cannot upgrade or change them in any way at the moment. The prices are still the same, however, you just aren't able to customize them at all. So it's really up to personal preference whether you want to buy a pre-upgraded vehicle that kind of has a messonet and one other thing like the laptop or whatever, or you want to go ahead and go for full customability and buy one of the custom vehicles, the ones in white, and then customize them to your liking. The new update also brought a bunch of new scenarios, which are great. I think our guide is up to, I want to say, 47 scenarios. So there are currently that many scenarios in rotation, which is awesome. More scenarios mean, a lot less of an ability to memorize them all and chase them all. So we love that. Let's talk about how you can maximize your earnings. The Dominator is a completely different playstyle than normal. So I'm going to try to do two so that we can get everybody kind of on the same page. In this state of the game, the name of it is prioritizing your intercept routes. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, with the addition of the 100-yard tornadic wind radius, you don't even have to be on top of it in order to get a good probe. See here, I'm still a reasonable amount away. Safe enough where I can get out of my car and pick up my probe while the tornado's still there, but I'm still racking almost 5,000 on it. So the name of the game is getting close enough not to get tossed, which is going to be roughly, if you have a Messenet, that 50 to 90 mile per hour, 90 on the extremely, that's about as tight of a window as you can get. But that is right around the sweet spot. Between 50 miles an hour and 90 miles an hour, you can get a very good probe off of that. Now, if you're shooting for direct intercept probes, you got to really line it up beforehand, but you can't. It's honestly really tricky. As the tornado is coming to you, it's going to, have the chance to swerve out of the way, but you got to kind of pay attention, watch the lining, and when it's close enough, you got to just place your probe down and go. It doesn't matter if it swerves. Well, I mean, it does matter, but you can't think about those things when it's approaching you at a high speed. You just kind of got to go for it. And eventually you'll learn that tornado, or either it'll swerve or it won't. You'll get a direct hit, or you'll get close enough. For my friends using the Dominator, you guys should have a pretty good handle on these things since you were able to rack up 1 million coins. But always make sure that you place your, you anchor as soon as possible once you know you're in a good spot. Waiting too long to anchor, you're still subject to getting dragged just as much as the other vehicles. So if you're close enough to get dragged, you cannot anchor down, logically speaking, and you will get tossed. The vehicle is very subject to get tossed, so make sure you anchor down. If you guys are interested, we do have a PDF guide that outlines all of the scenarios and the best intercept paths for each tornado. If you're interested, that is in my Discord. Link is in the description, and you'll find it in the pinned messages. Shout out PT White for making the guide in the first place and being honestly, such an amazing person for it. Alrighty, I showed you guys some Dominator gameplay, and let's take a look at some Magnitude gameplay and how to best set it up. You see here that we were trying to line it up. We used the camera to go ahead and see that it was going a tiny bit behind us. Don't mind that. And we're just trying to line it up as best we can beforehand. So we got a pretty good eye on this thing. And we go ahead and decide to drop it right here. So it's heading towards us. It's still far away. I just have a pretty good idea that it's probably not going to move. Made our best guess, and now I'm driving away to a reasonable safe distance. Once we were far enough away, I decided to turn around and face our probe so that we can get back to it as soon as possible and continue chasing this thing. Now, from this far away, we were still able to get 7,000, which is not a bad probe. It was not a direct hit. A direct hit would have landed us right around the area of 8,000, but still not a bad probe at all. Here we go with our second attempt on the same tornado. I whip out my camera, and we're going to try to line this up as best we can. It looks like it's heading at us kind of straight on. It's still super far away though, so in order to, make sure I'm as accurate as possible, I don't recommend doing this. I ended up stepping like way far forward. Honestly, probably farther than I should have. But I start walking towards this just so I can ensure that I'm about as close as the direct hit as I can, while still maintaining some distance from it. And then we go back to our car. After placing our probe down and getting back to our car, we already started to get some wind data. So I start booking it out of there. This thing is kind of on top of us. It passes over Echo Ridge over there in the distance in his lovely Dominator. But we get a pretty good probe on this. It starts racking up numbers. I get to a minimum safe distance, and then I once again turn myself to face my probe so that we can pick it up really quickly and step out of my car. The reason why I step out of my car every time when I'm at the minimum safe distance that I feel like is that the minimum safe distance for your person is a little bit farther away from the tornado than your actual car is. If you're close enough and you're in your car, you can start to get dragged and then tossed. But if you are outside of your car, you're a little bit safer than you might think. You'll start to hear the winds, your vision will get a little staticky, and the screen will darken a bit. But you can always, it's honestly better at that stage to run away. Do not get in your car. Like with all new early access games, all of this information is subject to change as they go ahead and polish their game out. I'm just saying, at the moment, if you're within the tornado's danger zone, the likelihood of you surviving outside of your car is higher than the likelihood of you surviving while you're inside of your car. That is all I'm saying at the moment. Now, if you're in the Dominator, that is a completely different story. For example, please watch this EF5 go right over the Dominator while it's anchored. Honestly, probably cutting it much closer than I should have been, but check this out.
This is the biggest one in the game so far. This This is as close to a wedge as you're gonna get in this game so far.
Oh, leave me alone. Don't pick me up. Don't pick me up. God fucking damn it. Holy shit. I'm alive. I definitely shouldn't be. I stepped into my car and it was already going at 200 miles an hour, basically. It jumped immediately to 15. Oh, it's right above me. I'm in the middle of it.
I saw a car drive into the tornado and get sucked up.
I am in the middle of this thing.
Who died? Which one died?
Yeah, so at the moment, if you're anchored down in the Dominator, you don't gotta be afraid of anything. Just don't step out of the vehicle. Now, if you're looking to learn how to predict a tornado based off of the radar, or if you're just looking for something that gets you right into the action, like I said, I do have a Discord. It does have a guide outlining all the tornado intercepts and all the scenarios so far. However, I do also have a pretty good video on wind shear and how to read the weather radar, and so that you can intercept and predict these tornadoes a little bit better. I would recommend checking that video out. There's also a couple really good videos on YouTube regarding cape and wind shear that I haven't made that I used to research for that video. I will try to link them if I can find them again. But at the moment, those options are available to you. And that's going to be it for this update video regarding all of the new features and how they impact the gameplay. The next video we're probably going to do is going to be everything you need to know about the Dominator 3 before you purchase it. So keep an eye out for that video. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure you like and subscribe. Comment your favorite part, or if there was anything that I didn't cover that you needed to know about. Until next time, Dieg out.